Okay, friends. In the last class, we have studied about extraction of iron and extraction of copper here by using respective the ores here. Today's class is extraction of zinc from zinc blends. So, extraction of zinc from zinc blend or zinc oxide. You take any ores, zinc blend or zinc oxides. You know very well about the minerals of zinc. The minerals of zinc is called as a zinc blend, ZnS. R1 is calamine, that is called as zinc carbonate here. R1 is a zinc site. Zinc site is called zinc oxides. These are the different types of minerals or ores which are used for the extraction of zinc from zinc from these ores minerals. Then what about here is for the extraction of zinc, it mainly involves concentration of ore, then roasting here, then this is reduction. Then the concentrated zinc sulfide, this is called as zinc sulfide. When zinc sulfide undergo roasting means heating with oxygen, we will get zinc oxides, and also it is sulfur dioxide gas is evolved. This is zinc oxide. When this zinc oxide is treated with coke at about 1673 Kelvin temperature, then you will get zinc and carbon monoxide is evolved. Here coke acts as good reducing agent for the reduction of zinc oxide into zinc. This is mainly based on Ellingham diagrams. In Ellingham diagrams, this is a delta G versus a temperature axis here. This is called as zinc curve, and this is C plus O2 gives CO curve, and this is about carbon monoxide curve. This is carbon monoxide 2C plus O2 gives 2CO here, and this is about here C plus O2 gives CO. C plus O2 gives CO2 here, and this is about Zn here plus half O2 gives ZnO. This is about carbon C plus 2C plus O2 gives 2CO here. The carbon curve lies below that of zinc. Then carbon acts as good reducing agent for zinc here at higher temperature. This is the temperature range at about 1673 Kelvin temperature. At this temperature here, the carbon curve lies below that of zinc, and this zinc is carbon is able to reduce zinc oxide into zinc. That means this curve indicates that here zinc oxide is less stable at higher temperature when compared to carbon or carbon monoxide. This is. Then this is about extraction of zinc from their oxides, or this is zinc blend. This is. Then similarly here the one more metal that is called as extraction of copper. Extraction of copper from low grade copper. Extraction of copper from low grade copper. The low grade copper is leached with bacteria. When low grade copper is leached with bacteria or it is acid here, then acid and bacteria can reduce here. This is a Cu2 plus in solution into copper. This is in acid medium here. You will get Cu here, and also you will get this H2 gas. This undergo reduction here. This is Cu2 plus converted into Cu and undergo reduction. This is. Then instead of using acid or bacteria here, it also can be reduced here by using iron scrap, and also it is a zinc scrap. Then here iron scrap is more advisable when compared to zinc scrap, since zinc is costlier and it is not economically not profitable here. That's why iron scraps are better to use. It is in case of it is obtain copper from low grade coppers. For example, here you are using the Cu2 plus, and the Cu2 plus reacts with low grade iron, like this is iron scrap. When iron scrap is treated with low grade copper in aqueous medium here, you will get a copper solid, and also you will get this is Fe2 plus in aqueous solution. Copper is less reactive when compared to iron. Iron is more reactive here. Due to more reactivity here, it can reduce the Cu2 plus into Cu. Here it undergoes oxidation here. Then you will get a copper. This is the copper. Then similarly here this is same this is copper, low grade copper treated with zinc scrap, and the zinc scrap reaction with the low grade copper, then we will get this is Cu here, it undergo reduction, and also Zn undergo oxidation, you will get Zn2 plus here in aqueous medium here, but this is not suitable, this. If you are comparing the reactivity of iron and zinc, zinc is more reactive when compared to iron. Even though zinc is more reactive than iron here, but it is not advisable here, since zinc is costlier here, it is not economically profitable here. That's why iron scraps are better to use to reduce Cu2 plus into Cu to obtain low grade coppers. This is the main concept involved in obtaining copper from low grade copper series. Then this is one of the important question asking in PU board here. This is extraction of copper from low grade copper here. This is a simple equation which are present here. Then the one more metal, that is extraction of aluminium. For extraction of aluminium from bauxite involves electrochemical principles. Generally here high reactive metals like sodium, magnesium and aluminium is extracted by using electrometallurgy. Electrometallurgy means the extraction of high reactive metals by passing electric current. That is called as electrochemical methods. Electrochemical principles. Electrochemical methods. In electrochemical methods here, these are based on electrochemical methods are based on Gibbs energy value, and also depends upon E0 cell values it is. That is delta G0 equal to minus NF E0 cell. This is E0 cell. If E0 cell is positive value, delta G becomes negative. If delta G is negative, here the process is spontaneous. That is easy to extract metals by passing this is electric current. This is called as, if delta G negative means E0 cell should be positive values. It is the positive value of E0 cell here that leads to the negative value of delta G here, then that process is feasible. Then based on this principle here, then we are extracting aluminium by using electrometallurgical methods. This is also called as Hall-Héroult process. Extraction of aluminium. Extraction of aluminium from bauxite. Then how do you extract aluminium from bauxite? It mainly consists of two electrodes. This is called as a steel vessel. A steel vessel are also called as steel vessel, and the steel vessel is lined with this is steel vessel lined with coke, carbon. This is lining with carbon. Then this acts as cathode. This is called cathode. And for this we are taken, this is called as molten Al2O3. Al2O3 means bauxite. This is molten Al2O3. And for this this is graphite rods. Graphite rods are actually as anodes. This is graphite rods, and graphite is connected with this is called anode. Anode means positive electrodes. Cathode means negative electrodes. This is called as electrochemical cell consists of two electrodes. One is anode, other one is cathode. It is. And this is called as molten. This is molten Al2O3 here, molten O3. Along with molten Al2O3, it is mixed with some little compound like CaF2, and also it is Na3Al(F6). This is called as calcium difluoride. This is called a cryolite. Cryolite fluorspar. This is cryolite. And what is the role of cryolite and fluorspar in the molten Al2O3 in the extraction of this aluminum from bauxite is, this is called as it lowers the melting point of the mixture. This mixture melting point is lowest and also increases the conductivity of this electrolyte. This is the main role of calcium difluoride and cryolite. Then Here graphite rods, these are called as carbon rods or graphite rods, and graphite rods are acts as anode, and the steel vessel here, it is lined with carbon, acts as a cathode. Then what are the reactions which takes place for the electrolysis? On passing electric current here, at anode, what happens here? At anode, during electrolytic cell here, it undergo oxidation. At anode, carbon combines with oxygen released by, this is molten Al2O3 here. Then you will get carbon monoxide, and also 2 electrons are released. Or this carbon also combines with 2 O2 minus here, oxygen present in bauxite here. Then you will get, this is CO2 here, and 4 electrons. These are the two reactions which are possible at anode. What about here at cathode? At cathode, Al3 plus ions migrate towards cathode and pick up 3 electrons and gets reduced. You will get aluminum, and aluminum is lighter due to lightweight here. It floats on the surface of electrolyte like this. This is called as aluminum. This is aluminum here, which is floats on the surface of these electrolytes here. Then what is the overall reaction? For the overall reaction of this cell is, this is 2 Al2O3 here combines with carbon here. Then we will get 4 Al, and this is 3 CO2. This is 3 CO2. This is overall reaction of the cell. Overall reaction. This is one of the most important question asking in second PUC here, in inorganic chemistry here, from this chapter, 3 marks question here. Extraction of aluminum from bauxite. This is also called as, it has one more name, this is also called as Hall-Héroult process. Hall-Héroult process. Extraction of aluminum from bauxite or extraction of aluminum from Hall-Héroult process. This is the most important question asking in PU examinations in chemistry. This is here sometimes what happens here for weightage, diagram carries 1 mark here with label diagram here, and also it is anode reaction, cathode reaction carries 1 mark here, and sometimes they are asking about overall reaction here. Overall reaction carries 1 mark here, and also sometimes instead of using overall reaction, sometimes they are asking about what is the role of cryolite and CaF2 in the extraction of aluminum from Hall-Héroult process. They are asking here, and the role of Na3LF6 is, and CF2 is, lowers the melting point of mixture and also increases the conductivity of electrolytes. This is the main thing about this is extraction of aluminum from bauxite. Then after this is electrochemical principle which is involved for extraction of aluminum from bauxite. Okay, anode reactions and cathode reaction more important. Here carbon combines with oxygen, will get CO, and 2 electrons are released here, and C plus 2 O2 minus will get CO2 and 4 electrons, and Al3 plus ion here pickups 3 electrons, will get aluminum. This is a reduction here, this is called as oxidation. In electrochemical cell, at anode undergoes oxidation, and at cathode here it undergoes reduction here, and overall reaction is Al2O3 combines with 3C, you will get 4Al and 3CO2. This is one of the most important topic in metallurgy. Yes. Then what about here is the one extraction of gold. For extraction of gold and silver, it mainly involves hydrometallurgy. In hydrometallurgy here, this is by using water. Hydrometallurgy means you have different types of metallurgies. One is pyrometallurgy, hydrometallurgy, electrometallurgy. And so far discussed about extraction of aluminum, here it involves mainly electrochemical method. This is called as electrometallurgy. But in this method here, we are using hydrometallurgy. Hydrometallurgy means using of water, aqueous medium. In hydrometallurgy, here, by using this hydrometallurgy, we are extracting gold here. That is, this is, for example, you take this is gold. When gold is treated with sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide, and this is 2H2O, and this is oxygen. When gold is treated with sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide, it is leached in this compound like NaCN or KCN. Use any one, it is NaCN or KCN. Dilute solution of KCN or dilute solution of NaCN treated with gold here, and gold combines with this NaCN and KCN, you will get complex. You will get Au here, and this is Cn here taken twice minus, and also this 4OH minus 4Au plus 4Au, this is Cn, 4 to the 8 Cn here, this is 2H2O 4OH minus. This is called Iro complex. This is when this Iro complex Au here, this is Cn taken twice complex Iro, this is Iro complex here, treated with zinc, then zinc is more reactive than gold, zinc replaces gold, and zinc also reduces gold here, then you will get Au gold, and also you will get a zinc complex. This is Zn Cn4 and 2 minus. This is, and in the first step what happens here, gold reacts with sodium cyanide or NaCN here, then here oxidation state of gold is 0, here oxidation state of gold is +1. Its oxidation state undergoes 0 to +1. This is called as oxidation. This is oxidation. In the second step here, this is we are adding zinc. Zinc as a reducing agent. It reduces here this oxidation state +1 to 0. Here, that's why here zinc acts as a reducing agent. This is called as a reducing agent. This is extraction of gold here by using hydrometallurgy. Here, this is also called as Mark-Arthur Sennett process. Mark-Arthur Sennett process. This is thing is. These are the reactions which are involved in the extraction of gold. It is okay. Next, these are the different types of different methods which are involved for extraction of iron, copper, zinc, and low grade copper, and also gold, and also aluminum. These are the important methods which are involved. Then what about here after extraction of metal, crude metal here, then you go for these refining methods. And what is refining here? Refining means purification of metal. Purification of metal is called as refining. Purification of metal, purification of crude metal is called as refining. Purification. For the purification of metal here, we have so many methods are there. One is distillation technique is there. So one of the simplest method, distillation, and the second one is called liquefaction method, and the third one is electrolytic refining, and the fourth one zone refining, and fifth one here wafer phase refining, and chromatography techniques, chromatography techniques. These are the techniques which are involved for the purification of metals. And what about distillation here? You know very well about distillation in first PUC class here. In distillation process, we have one is round bottom flask. This is a round bottom flask, and this you have this one is condenser. It is you have the thermometer. This is a condenser here to collect the vapors. Condenser here we will collecting liquid vapors. Here you have impure metal is taken here, and this is called as a stand, is connected with round bottom flask. Here we are keeping burner. Here this is burner. This is the apparatus which is involved in during distillation. Distillation method mainly used for the separation of the low boiling metals. If any metal has low boiling points, low boiling point metals can be separated by using or purified by using distillation methods, especially in case of zinc and mercury. And zinc and mercury have low boiling points here. That's why these metals are purified by using this technique. When impure zinc or impure mercury is taken in a distillation flask and it is heated, the low melting metal melts fast here. It comes out in the form of vapors, and these vapors are condensed and collected in a vessel here, and a high boiling point metal present in the leaving behind it is flask here. Like this we are separating both that is high boiling point metal and also low boiling point metal. Here low boiling point metal first vaporizes and it is vaporizes and collected and it is removed here like this. Then what about here? This is liquefaction method. Liquefaction methods are used for the purification of the element like tin. Tin, nothing but this is SiN. This is tin elements, and the tin has low melting points. If any metal has a low melting point, then liquefaction method is very useful here for purification. And in this process, we are using a sloping hearth. This is a sloping hearth furnace. Sloping hearth. An impure metal is kept on a sloping hearth furnace and it is heated. Then in this process here, impurity has high melting points. Impurity has high melting point and pure metal has low melting point. When metal has low melting point here, on heating this sloping hearth furnace, the metal melts first in the form of liquid, and these liquids are collected in a separate vessel here, and impurities are leaving behind. Here it is. This is a technique which are used for a liquefaction process. Impurity has high melting point, but the metal has low melting point. On heating at low temperature, metal melts first and it is liquefied, and this liquid is collected in a separate vessel. Like this, we are separating impurity and metals. This is called as a liquefaction technique. And what about in electrolytic refining? The electrolytic refining mainly consists of here two electrodes. It requires two electrodes. One is, this is called as an impure metal rod. Impure metal rods are acts as anodes, and pure metal rods are acts as cathodes. This is a pure metal rod, and this pure metal rod acts as cathode. Cathode means what? Cathode means negative electrode, and this is anode. It is anode. Thick impure metals react as anode, and thin pure metals react as cathode, and these two electrodes are kept in a suitable electrolytes, their own electrolytes. For example, here this is called impure copper, this is impure copper, this is pure copper here. Then on passing electric current, here the following reaction takes place. What happens here? At anode, what happens here? At anode here, what is the anode? Anode means impure copper rod. At anode here, this is the Cu here, undergoes Cu2 plus, and also it gets 2 electrons. It undergoes oxidation, and this rod undergoes oxidation. Then at cathode here, this is Cu2 plus ions. Cathode means what? Cathode means this is a pure rod, pure copper rod. At cathode, Cu2 plus ions present in the solution here, pick up 2 electrons and deposits as copper. This is cathode. This rod is dissolved in solution here. This rod, impure rod, dissolves in solution here and deposits on cathode. As time passes here, this weight goes on increases. This weight goes on weight goes on decreases. Its weight goes on increases. Like that here, we are separating. We are purifying here the copper metal, and in this anode portion here, at the bottom of the anode, it contains some impurities, and thus impurity is called as anode mud. This is called as anode mud. The impurities which are settled at the anode here, bottom of the anode, this is called anode mud. It may contain silver, gold, tellurium, like that. It contains different types of metals which are present in anode mud. Generally, it contains like a silver and Ag, gold here, like this. This is about extraction of that is purification of copper by using electrolytic refining method, and this method especially used for refining of copper and zinc. If you are using zinc here, then it is used, this is called as impure zinc rod. Here it undergo oxidation, you will get zinc ions, Zn2 plus ions, and this is the Zn2 plus ions here pick up 2 electrons, undergoes zinc. This is zinc. If you are using zinc here, you are adding zinc reactions. If you are using copper, then you are adding copper reactions. At anode, it always undergoes oxidation. At cathode, it always undergoes reduction. Then what about zone refining? In the zone refining here, we are using this method is used for the purification of elements like silicon, germanium, and gallium. silicon, germanium, gallium, these metals required in highest purity here, since they are used in semiconductors. So these ultra pure metals which are used in semiconductors are generally here purified using a zone refining method. From this method you will get 99.99% of purity it is. And what are the main principle involved in zone refining method? The main principle involved in zone refining method is the impurities are more soluble in molten zone. Impurities are more soluble in molten zone than in the solid zone. This is the main principle involved in zone refining. In the zone refining here, it consists of movable heaters. Movable heaters. This is also called as movable heater, and this is called as impure rod. This is impure rod. When impure rod is kept in between electric mobile heaters, then when these mobile heaters are moving in the same direction here, same direction like this, and this impure metal here melts, and the impurities which are present in the impure rod, this rod here moves towards at the end of the this is portion here. Then this portion is cut and it is thrown from the metal rod. This is like this. And here the movable heaters must move in the same directions. When these movable heaters are moving in the same direction, the impurities which are present in the metal rod here moves in the same direction here, and the impurities are more soluble in the molten zone here than in the solid zone here. When these heaters are moves in the same direction here, and this portion becomes solidified, this portion becomes melted here, and the impurities are more soluble in melt when compared to solid zone here. That's why we get a pure metal here, and here we will get impurities, and these impurities are removed here by cutting the rods. This is wafer phase refining. And what about in this is this is about zone refining. Then what about this wafer phase refining? This is the most important method which are used here for the purification of silicon, germanium and gallium, and they require in highest purity. To get highest purity here we are going for this zone refining. In the zone refining, the main principle involved is impurities are more soluble in the molten zone than in the solid zone. This is. Then what about here it is wafer phase refining. In wafer phase refining here, to purify the metals should satisfy two conditions. One is the metal should form easily volatile complex at lowest temperature. If any metal, if you want to purify by using wafer phase refining here, the metal should satisfy two conditions. One is that metal should form volatile complex at low temperature. The second one here, that volatile complex undergo decompose at high temperature. These are the two conditions to purify the metal in the wafer phase refining. Metal should form volatile complex easily at low temperature, and the volatile complex undergo decompose at high temperature. These are the two conditions to purify the metal in the wafer phase refining. And in this method we are purifying two metals. One is called Mann's process we are using. One is Mann's process. In Mann's process it is purified by nickel. When impure nickel treated with carbon monoxide at about 330 Kelvin to 350 Kelvin temperature, we will get a complex like tetracarbonyl nickel complex. This is tetracarbonyl nickel complex here, this one, nickel. This on heating at high temperature at about 450 Kelvin to 470 Kelvin temperatures. On high, this is low temperature, this is high temperature. On heating at high temperature here, this compound undergoes decomposes here to give pure nickel, and also you get carbon monoxide is removed. The impurities are removed by using this technique here. This is called as pure nickel, this is called impure nickel. And impure nickel treated with carbon monoxide, you will get tetracarbonyl nickel complex. This on strong heating at high temperature here, you will get pure nickel and carbon monoxide. This is called as Mann's process. Similarly here, whatever one more method is there, that is called as Van Orkel methods we are using. Van Arkel method. Van Arkel method. In Van Arkel method, here we are purifying zirconium and titanium. Zirconium, titanium. In this process here, the traces of impurities, this zirconium and titanium contains some trace impurities like oxygen and nitrogen. To remove traces of nitrogen, oxygen which are present in zirconium, titanium here, then we go for this Van Arkel methods. The impure zirconium are treated with iodine atmosphere, then we will get zirconium iodide complex. This zirconium iodide complex here, on heating with the tungsten filament at about 1800 Kelvin temperature, we get zirconium and iodine gas is evolved, and this zirconium is deposited on tungsten filament here. This is called pure zirconium we will getting. Like this we are removing the impurities which are present in zirconium and titanium. Instead of using zirconium here, if you are using titanium, then the same reactions are we are writing here. Here titanium reacts with 2I2, titanium reacts with 2I2, we will get titanium I4, titanium iodide, and titanium iodide here on heating with the tungsten filament at about high temperature, you will get a pure titanium and iodine gas is evolved here. This is use any one, either use zirconium or titanium. Both zirconium and titaniums are refined by using Van Arkel method, and the Mans process is used for the refining of nickel. This is Mans process, and this is about Van Arkel methods. And what about here, that is the last one, it is called as chromatography techniques. Chromatography technique. In chromatography techniques, you are studied about in first few syllabus here, that is chromatography techniques, we have so many techniques are there. One is paper chromatography here, other one is thin layer chromatography, other one is column chromatography here, like this. And chromatography techniques are mainly used for the purification of organic compounds here, and also for the separation of organic compounds. Then in this technique here, mainly it is if you are taking a column chromatography as an example here, column chromatography consists of a long burette. This is called as burette. This is a burette, and this burette is filled with stationary phase. Stationary phase, generally we are using alumina gel or silica gels. Alumina gel, silica gel used as a stationary phase. Chromatographic techniques we are using it has two phases. One is mobile phase, other one is a stationary phase. You know very well about in the first few syllabus here, chromatography techniques. And this is about burette here, and this is about here we are using beakers. Use any beaker here to collect different components here. It is obtained from this. You are collecting this is and this is called as a stationary phase. Stationary phase. Stationary phase. Stationary phase. An impure sample is kept on a stationary phase. This is an impure sample here. This is an impure sample. An impure sample is kept on a stationary phase. When impure sample is kept on a stationary phase here, for this here we are adding suitable eluents. Eluent nothing but mobile phase. This is called as a mobile phase. By adding suitable eluent here for this impure substance here, it may contain different types of substances. It contains substance A, B, or different it is. Then this mobile phase dissolves these impurities here, and based on affinity towards stationary phase, different components which are present in this impurity here, they are moving different distances, like this. This is called as here, this when eluent moves here, it carries different components in different distances. This is layer 1 here, this is layer 2 here, and this is layer 3 here, and this is layer 4, like this. We will get different layers. The substances are separated in the form of layers. The component here, the component which has more affinity towards stationary phase, the component which has more affinity towards stationary phase, that moves slowly here, and that is present in the upper part of the burette. The component which has less affinity towards stationary phase here, that moves fast here, that comes bottom of that is a column. This is called component A, this is B, this is C, like D. Like this, we are separating different components by using chromatography technique. This is also called as column chromatography here. And in column chromatography consists of two phases. One is a stationary phase or one is mobile phase. And the stationary phase generally we are using here alumina gel. Generally we are using alumina gel or silica gel. And the silica gel, alumina gel acts as stationary phase, and organic solvent generally acts as mobile phase here. Then, so by using suitable solvents here, then different substances are moving different distances. They are separated. This technique is called as the chromatography techniques. From this technique also you will get the highest purity of the compounds. Generally, drugs are purified by using this technique. These are the different methods which are involved in the purification of metals. There is a refining of metals. This is also refining of metals. Refining means purification of metals. One is distillation, and this technique mainly used for the metals which has low boiling points. They can be purified by using a distillation technique. And for example, zinc and mercury has low boiling points. That's why these metals are purified by using distillation technique. And the liquefaction techniques generally used for this the low melting metals. The low melting metals like tin can be purified by using this technique here. When in this technique here we are using sloping hot furnace here. An impure sample is kept on a sloping hot furnace and heated. The low melting metal melts first here, leaving behind impurities on the furnace here. Then we collected liquid metal in the vessel. And in the electrolytic refining, here it consists of two electrodes. One is anode, other one is cathode. Anode is called impure rod, cathode is pure rod here. When these two rods are kept in a suitable electrolyte and passing electric current here, anode dissolves in the solution and deposits on cathode. And the next one is zone refining here. In this one, we are using mobile heaters. An impure rod is kept in between mobile heaters and heated here in the same direction. The impurities are moved in the same direction here, and it is thrown away here. This technique is mainly used for purification of silicon, germanium, and gallium. And next one is wafer phase refining here. You know well about Mann's process and Van der Kolk method. And finally, this is called as a chromatography technique here. It is used for the separation of medicines and drugs here. This is the most important technique used in purification of drugs. Thank you.